Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm excited to play with a bunch of new makeup. We have a lot of new releases dropping, so I'm trying to do dedicated first impressions. I just did the Natasha Denona Gold Collection, and then I do have the new e.l.f. foundation. So I'm going to be including that in this video today, but I'm going to film a separate wear test so that you guys can see how this wears. So just bear with me while I get these videos out for you guys. But we're just going to try a bunch of new stuff. I'm going to give you my first impression, and we'll see what's worth it and what maybe is not. So of course I will link everything that I share today down below in my description box. If you're new here, I hope you stick around and subscribe. And if you like first impressions or trying new makeup videos, give this video a thumbs up, and let's go ahead and get into it. Okay, so let's start with some skin prep. You may have noticed that my skin looks quite hydrated and dewy, and that is thanks to this product that I want to rave about. So I want to say thank you to Dalba for sponsoring this portion of today's video. Everything I've tried from them has truly become a favorite in my routine. So this is the newest product to me, which is the White Truffle Double Serum and Cream. Wow, I have to say I've worked with Dalba a few times, and you guys were in my comment section raving about this product, so I'm so happy I finally got to try it. It has two different sections, and instead of shaking it up like the spray serum, you can actually customize depending on your skin type. This side is the Aqua Serum, and this is gonna give lightweight hydration and be soothing, giving skin relief. And on this side, you have the Intense Cream. So this is super rich, super moisturizing, and improves the skin's elasticity, and it's packed with nutrients, so it's definitely heavy duty for those of you that need more moisture overall. And of course, both sides are packed with the antioxidant white truffle. That is a signature ingredient for Dalba, and that's just going to improve the fine lines on your skin, give you hydration, improve skin elasticity, so it's really hydrating and also anti-aging. So in terms of how to use this, it's super easy. They give you a cheat sheet, so I'm going to put that up on the screen, but if you have combo skin like me, you're gonna wanna do a 1-to-1 ratio. Just mix them together and you'll get the perfect consistency. If you have dry skin, you're gonna wanna do a 2-to-1 using more of the Intense Cream. And then if you have oily skin, you're gonna wanna do a 2-to-1 ratio using 2 parts of the Aqua Serum. So I love that I can customize it because typically at night, I will do more of the Intense Cream because I really want that deep hydration while I'm sleeping. But if I'm going to be using this under my makeup, because I am combo, I do a 1-to-1 I do a 1-to-1 ratio. So I love that. I think it's genius that they did that. It's just so customizable. I also love the scent of Dalba products. It's a really light citrus floral. It does not irritate my skin, and I do have rosacea. Also, I am acne prone, and I have not had any breakouts with any of the Dalba products. They have done hypoallergenic testing, so it is safe for sensitive skin, and it is vegan as well. So I just slather this on before bed, and when I wake up the next day, my skin is like supple, and I can still feel the hydration. But for the daytime, I lean more into mixing it half and half so that it gives me that hydration and moisture, but it also wears beautifully under makeup. So I will link this down below. You can also get Dalba on Amazon. I just love this product. I love the whole brand. Give it a try for 7 days and you will see the glow that your skin has once you use these products. Definitely recommend checking them out. There's a reason everybody's talking about them, because their products work. So thank you again to Dalba for sponsoring this portion of today's video. Let's go ahead and get into trying new makeup. I went ahead and zoomed you in, and I wanted to start off and try out this new lip gloss from BabsBeauty, and this is in Italian Soda. So Dibs sent over a couple products for me to try. There's just so many blushes right now. I have some other blushes I wanted to test today. It has like a light, I don't know, maybe like vanilla scent. Feels really nice on the lips. It definitely is more sheer when you apply it than when you swatch it, but it looks really pretty as a like milky gloss. I don't know if it's the shiniest formula ever, but it does have a little bit of like shimmers in here. So I think it's pretty. We'll see how it hydrates my lips and how it wears as we go on. But I wanted to do another look with the new Natasha Denona Golden Palette. So this just came out. I did a first impressions. I will link that down below. I did more of like a really glam bronze smoky eye. I do have to say that my eyes are sore, and it's not from the palette, it's just having so much eyeliner in my like inner rim is really hard for me, especially since I've had like really sensitive eyes. So I want to do something just super light. I have a lot of skin products that I really want to focus on today. So I think I'm going to start out and use this shade right here, which is called Pana. I don't know how to say that. I'm gonna actually switch brushes because this is one of those cream matte formulas. And I wanna use this on the inner side of my lid, sort of mapping out a fake crease, essentially. A crease that doesn't exist, because my crease is much lower than that. This formula, just in terms of being like creamy matte, probably would be better if I didn't set my base, but it is what it is. We're gonna make it work. So I'm just gonna apply this about halfway in. Next, I'm gonna jump into Aria. This is a little bit deeper, just to give me a little bit of definition. And I want to apply this on the outer portion, and then I'm probably gonna take another shade to soften it. So first I'm just gonna take a clean brush and just go around the edges. Might have to add another layer because it does sort of blend away some of that depth. Next, I'm gonna take a little bit of Flesh. This is a shade that I use a lot. I mean, I've only used this palette now the second time, but I noticed that this is a really nice kind of transition for my skin tone. I'm just gonna use this to soften. I feel like I'm having to work a little hard to blend this side out, which is sort of strange. I am gonna grab a little bit of the lightest cream to powder, which is called Milko. I just want to clean up a little bit around the edges. This side is giving me a little trouble. I feel like this is my side I struggle with most times. And I have microblading, so my microblading actually goes down. So I have an issue blending the edges of my eyes because I'm kind of going over microblading, and then I'm going over a bunch of concealer and powder that covers my microblading. So I feel like I kind of always struggle with the outer edges, like right when I start getting into blowing out shadows a little bit further. Next, I'm gonna take a little bit of Fizzy. This shade is more of like a topper, and I want to apply this in the center of the lid, kind of marrying the two mattes. And I don't want this to be too concentrated. I kind of want it to just be like glittery. And then I think I want to go in with Aura. This one is like that iridescent shift from like a green gold, or a gold, I don't know, like a white gold green. I just want to add a little bit of this, although this isn't showing up the best. That's interesting. Okay, maybe not. I'm just gonna go back into Fizzy then. I feel like that Aura shade needs to be applied on a damp base, maybe like a glitter glue type situation. And then I'm just going back into Reinforce Aria, which was that first shade. And then to tie everything together, I'm gonna try to mix a little bit of Flesh with this Pana shade because I need a lighter shade than Flesh to soften. And just for fun, I want to try to maybe add a little bit of this Kava, which is, again, like a glitter shade. Why is that not sticking? Okay, that's interesting. Never mind. All right, maybe some of these are a little finicky. I'm going back in with Fizzy. Okay, next I'm gonna go into Log, and I wanna just put this lightly on the lash line just to give me some dimension. So almost stamping it and then just kind of swiping. I always struggle with this because it can get out of hand quickly on my eye shape. And sometimes I have better luck if I stamp from below, especially like on the inner portion of my lid. Okay, so next I want to try out a new mascara from Melt. So this is the So High Curl Lock and Waterproof Mascara. It has this bent wand. It kind of reminds me of the Clio wand that I love. It feels dry just upon pulling the wand out. So definitely not a wet formula. I'm already getting it on my lid. I feel like I need to use those eyeshadow guard things. Okay, it's giving me nice volume. Did I say volume? I meant length. Good job, Babs. It is getting all over my lid, but I wonder if that's because I curled my lashes a little too aggressively. So we'll have to fix that. Wait a minute, is it getting a little bit spidery? Okay, what is happening to me right now? I'm like getting stuff all over me. Okay, let's try to finish without getting even more. Oh. We just have to laugh at this point. It's not my day for mascara. The amount of mascara I just got on myself is really honestly alarming. What is going on? Okay, so let me try to clean this up and then I'm going to apply some press-on lashes. I think I'm gonna use Ardell. Okay, so I went ahead and put lashes on off camera. I did add a tiny little wing with this Melt brow pen. I just feel like it finishes things. My lashes are not sitting perfectly, so it's driving me nuts, but we're just going to move on. I wanna get into trying some complexion products. And the first one being the new e.l.f. Soft Glam Satin Foundation. You guys seem really excited about this, so I ordered this from the website. I got the shade 22, which is light warm. So it does have the tube packaging. It's nothing, you know, super fancy, but honestly, I'm here for the $8 price point. I feel like some of these drugstore brands have gotten out of hand, actually pretty much all of them. So it does have a squeeze tube. This shade is probably a little warm for me, and it's also a little bit deep for me right now, so I'm probably gonna have to pull it down my neck. The formula feels a little bit thicker than I would have thought. I am going to apply just a little bit more of that Dalba cream because I had quite a bit of glitter fallout. I tried to wipe most of it away, but when I did wipe it away, I did remove some of my hydration. So just a typical moisturizer. And then what I wanted to do on one side of my face is to use a blurring primer because I want to see how this holds up without anything underneath and how it looks with the pore situation, if it's going to enhance my pores, if it's going to get oily. So I'm going to go in just on one side with my Glowish Blur Jam. This is my go-to. This has a really nice light texture and it does a good job at blurring pores, but also keeping me from getting overly oily or greasy. I still have glitter on me, but we're just gonna have to roll with it. And you know, we've been doing a trying new makeup. We're gonna do our best here. So I'm gonna go in and put some of this on the back of my hand, and I'm gonna use the e.l.f. Complexion Duo brush. This shade is definitely warmer than my skin. I thought it was gonna be too dark, but I don't think it is actually. My self-tan is about a week old now, so it's pretty faded. The coverage is, I would say, medium. It does say that it has a satin finish, and it does say that it's hydrating, but it also claims to be long wear. And satin finish is not dewy by any means. Yeah, I feel like it's almost kind of lifting where I put that glowish. I want to see if I notice any difference without having a primer. Okay, so this is what the e.l.f. foundation is looking like freshly applied. I do have some thoughts. I want to zoom you all the way in. So I feel like the coverage is good. It definitely has, I would say, a satin hydrating finish. Like when I'm turning my face, it definitely has that hydrated look. It does have that skincare type feel that I typically don't like in a foundation, where it sort of moves. Now I don't know how it's gonna do when I set it, but I can just tell I have some like streaking on my nose, and then even on my chin area, I just feel like it doesn't have that seamless like dry down look. So I am curious to see how this will wear, but my initial thoughts is it just feels a little bit heavy to me. Okay, so next I wanna go in and demo this Makeup by Mario Soft Sculpt Bronzing and Shaping Serum. So I picked this up and I've been using it behind the scenes. I did talk about this in a new at Sephora video that I did, but essentially this is a glowy, kind of everyday liquid bronzer. So it does have a doe foot, and then it also has a pump. So let me just swatch it for you. It's extremely thin, and it doesn't have such a glow that I feel like it's too much, but it definitely has some sort of glow in there. Kind of reminds me of how his foundation had like that illumination inside. So I'm going to pump a little bit out on the back of my hand. I'm hoping that it will mesh well with this foundation. I haven't had any issues with the Makeup by Mario with other foundations. So I'm just going to apply this to a clean brush, and I want to use this just to give me a little bit of color. It's definitely a hydrating formula, but it is so thin that it's different than the e.l.f. in texture. The e.l.f. has that like thick skincare emollients, whereas this Makeup by Mario almost has like a thin serum feel. You can see that it does have, you know, that radiance to it, but I don't find it to be crazy over the top. So I want to go in next and try out these Lawless cream blushes. I do look a little bit crazy because we haven't done concealer yet, but I have these new Lawless Pinch My Cheeks Soft Blur Cream blushes. So they sent me every shade. Wow, that one looks beautiful. I haven't even swatched these. This is called Valentine. Ooh, that's pretty. That might be a contender. I'm just trying to decide which shade I want to use. We also have Gumdrop, which is like a really beautiful light pink. I think I kind of like that first shade so far. Ooh, gosh, this one's pretty though. This one's called Cherry Pie. That is pretty. It does seem pretty similar though to that first shade that I swatched. So I think I'm gonna start with these ones. Might have to get into Starburst, but let's start off with the first shade, I think called Valentine. I'm gonna use a clean brush so you can see a ton of product picks up on the brush. I'm going to stipple this on the inside of my hand, and I'm not afraid to go a little heavy because once I put powder on top, it does calm things down a little bit. Okay, so swatching this on the cheek or applying this, pretty glowy. I'm wondering though if that's the e.l.f. foundation because I don't get the vibe that this is insanely dewy or serum-like when I swatch it. I'm going up like straight under my eye because I am going to use concealer. Okay, so that's really pretty. I think the foundation is throwing me off, but that shade is beautiful. I'm trying to decide. I think I might go into, let's see, let's do Gumdrop just because I want to put a little bit of this like right under my eye. I've been seeing some girls on TikTok do this like before they go in with their concealer, and it kind of gives that pink under eye, even though I look crazy right now. I want to go in with concealer and make this come together. And for concealer, I am going to just use an oldie but a goodie. This is the Anastasia Beverly Hills Magic Touch. I don't have a new concealer. I just haven't been buying concealers recently. I feel like I kind of had a lot of fails. So I'm just going to start blending this out and see if we can get that kind of like bubblegum under eye look. So after I've done a like soft blend, then I'm gonna go back in and intensify the blush. And then if I feel like it's too much, I can use the e.l.f. foundation brush and just soften. Okay, so this is what the complexion is looking like. I feel like I definitely look very hydrated. I want to go in next with powder. So I want to see how all of these products play with powder. And I'm going to be using my Lunar powder in Translucent Light. I am just going to set my under eye and then pull down. This is my favorite powder by a landslide. And then I go in and dust away. Looking up close, I almost feel like there's some sort of like patchiness going on. Yeah, when I look up close, this is definitely lifted and patched off. This side is even worse. Oh, that's such a bummer, especially because I really was excited about those Lawless blushes. Maybe I will try them on top of powder and we'll see how they go. I mean, at this point, what do I have to lose? So I'm going to go ahead and finish my brows, and then I want to go in with a new YSL bronzer, and then maybe we'll try to just put the Lawless on top of powder and see if that works better. Okay, so to add some warmth to the skin, I want to try this YSL All Hours Hyper Bronze. I got this bronzer and I got it in the shade 3. It's pretty pigmented. I could have probably gotten 2, so I feel like I have to be really careful and use a fluffy brush. So I'm just gonna dip in and I want to try to get some warmth back. Once something starts patching, it's really difficult to kind of figure out how to remedy it or what is causing it. This bronzer is really, really intense, and I think I could have gotten 2. I do feel like it did help in giving me a little bit of color, but I want to try, and I don't even know why I want to try this, but I want to try one of the Lawless blushes over powder just to see. This may be a mistake, but let's go ahead and try Starburst. I just thought that we would test this out because I actually had an experience with the Haus Labs blush where it applied the best over powder. So sometimes these formulas can surprise you. I feel like I gotta get my close mirror here. So I'm seeing a little bit of disrupting my foundation, like right in here. I'm kind of bummed because I usually get on with Lawless products, but if something is going to be super finicky, I just will not reach for it. Could be the e.l.f. foundation, but it's kind of hard to tell. It looks pretty up here, but then it starts getting a little funky. I think I want to go in and add some highlighter. So I have these from Natasha Denona. These are a little bit older, but I never got around to showing them. So these are the High Gen Skincare Infused Glowing Beautifiers. They essentially are really, really beautiful high shine highlighters. Now she uses them under her makeup as well, like as a primer. This is the shade 2, which is medium. Ooh. I think I might try that today. And then this is the shade 1. So I'm gonna go ahead and dip into the medium shade. Because this is really creamy, I don't know how it's going to pick up. Does this have a scent? Okay, I thought I was smelling something. This smells like, I don't know, like suntan lotion or something, which is kind of weird because Natasha's products usually don't have scents in them. Okay, so it gives you a pretty glow. I feel like it does have a little bit of glitter, but it's not terrible. It does give you a nice glow. I just tried out her highlighting trio palette and I thought that that was like a stripe. This one I feel like looks more seamless. It just kind of has a softer appearance. I still feel like you have a little bit of that glitter specks if you look closely, but it just seems to be more seamless on the skin. I don't know, I want to try this under foundation as well, maybe in another video, just because that's how she demoed it and her skin just looked super, super glowy. But let's go ahead and move on to finish off this look and let's do lips. So to line my lips, I am gonna use my Freck lip liner in 01. I don't have any other new lip liners to try and I love this formula. Plus this is the warmer shade of the ones that I have, so I feel like it'll go with the look the best. And for lipstick, I want to try this brand that sent me a couple products. This is a lipstick from the brand Queen Musia. So they sent me a couple lipsticks and I think a mascara. I have swatched this, but I haven't used it yet. And I just feel like this shade would really go well with what I'm wearing. So this shade is called Molly Bloom. I know Cheryl was raving about these lipsticks. They kind of have like a crayon smell, which is my kind of only complaint off the bat. Feels more like a kind of waxy formula. I do like this color, but the finish is definitely more like a satin. I think it's a pretty color. As long as I can't taste the kind of like clay smell, then it doesn't bother me, but it doesn't have any sort of like vanilla or anything like that, which is something that I would have preferred, but I think the shade is really pretty. I wanna go ahead and add on a little bit of this lip oil. So I got this from Dior. This is the Glow Lip Oil, and this is one of the newer shades. I think this is called like Bronze Addict or Bronze something. It's probably gonna be pretty sheer, but I thought we could just apply that on top. Ooh, that's beautiful. I mean, I already know I like this formula. Super, super juicy. All right, guys, so here's my finished makeup look, trying a bunch of new products. I do not love this look because of some things that happened. So let's go over my thoughts on the products. Starting out with the Dibs lip gloss. I feel like a lot of these baby pink milky glosses just don't have enough pigment for me. I want a little more pigment. I felt like it was comfortable. It didn't feel like it dried my lips out, and I don't think it was sticky, but I wish there was a little bit more oomph to it. I would like to try it maybe another time over lipstick. So I think it's so-so, but nothing that's really standing out to me. Now, in terms of the Natasha Denona Golden Palette, I have to say that I don't like the look that I came up with today. I just didn't put a ton of thought into it, and I feel like I could have done better. I really love just a basic wing and a matte in the crease, but I think I always push myself because I'm filming that I need to like use shimmers and do all these other things, and it ends up just not working sometimes. I do think that I had a little bit of issue blending out that Aria shade. Not a huge thing, but a little bit on this eye. And I will note that some of these shimmer shades or topper shades really do need a glitter glue, or they need to be applied to a tacky base. I felt like I couldn't pick up this shade and then also Kava, but when I used this yesterday and I posted my video, it was stunning. I used the Nubia shade and I really loved my look. So again, I'm just kind of playing around with this. This does have some repeat shades from the gold palette, but if you want to know more of my thoughts and a more in-depth demo of this palette, I will link my first impression down below. Of course, it's too early to tell how I feel about the e.l.f. Soft Glam foundation. I just don't really like the way that this feels. I do think that my skin looks nice and it does have a little bit of that satin glow. I don't think that my texture looks awful, but looking in the mirror, I do feel like I look better with the primer, which doesn't surprise me. I just can't get past that skincare feel in foundations. So many brands are doing it and I really dislike it. It just feels so heavy to me. This did set down okay, but I do feel like I had just that kind of smearing and a little bit of lifting and patching. So this is a product that I'm really gonna have to try with my tried and true products, just because I was trying so many new things today. Now, I will say that I do like the Makeup by Mario Serum Bronzer. I do think this is a nice, glowy, everyday product. Not something that I really would reach for in a full glam like this, but of course I wanted to demo it for you. I do think that if you're looking for something intense, this is not gonna be it. It has a really thin texture and it's not super pigmented. So this is more of an everyday product for me. If you do want a little bit more oomph, I would recommend getting a shade deeper than you think, or just choosing another product altogether. But I feel like it blends super well and it's very easy to use. Sadly, I don't think that I like this Melt Cosmetics mascara. I thought I was gonna like it because it does have a similar wand to the Clio mascara I love. I felt like this was a drier formula, but it was so messy. It could just be me. You know what? It's that time of the month. I'm just not feeling my best. I'm doing my best. You know how you have those days where you're like, you know what? I gotta push through. I gotta get my work done. And sometimes you're just not feeling the best. That's me today. And I feel like I was just a little bit all over the place. This just got all over and I felt like it didn't give me any volume. It really just gave me length, but then it started getting into that really spidery sort of like piecey look. So I'm really not loving that. I do think that these are beautiful from Natasha Denona. These just feel much smoother. They melt into your skin. There is a little bit of, I would say, like glitter particles if you look closely. But again, I do want to try this different ways because she did demo this under her foundation as well. I have to get around to that. I feel like I'm just like drowning in blushes and just bronzers and the same things over and over. So I'm trying to get to everything. Now, in terms of the Lawless cream blushes, I'm actually the most disappointed in these. I feel like they're so beautiful. Like the shades are beautiful and they do apply okay on an unset face, but I felt like they lifted and patched pretty bad with powder. And I don't have that issue with a lot of my favorite cream bronzers or cream blushes. I am going to have to keep trying these with different products. It could be the e.l.f. foundation. So again, I have to try these products with my go-to base, just so I know that it's really the product and not something else that I've mixed it with. It did go better over powder, but it still kind of got that weird kind of patching or line of demarcation really right in here. So those are just not wowing me, and I really don't know if they're going to redeem themselves just because there's so many different cream blushes on the market, and if something's finicky, I just don't really want to work with it. Moving on to the YSL bronzer, I feel like it's just too soon to tell. I really need to try this again with my go-to products. I do think it's a little bit deep, so I wish I would have gotten the shade 2 just because this packs a punch and it's pretty intense. So if you're looking at this, maybe go down a shade, but I didn't have any issues with it. It has a nice glow to it, very pigmented. I just feel like I need to play with this a little bit more. Now, in terms of the lip products, I love the shade of this lipstick from, what is this, Queen Musia. I think it's beautiful. I wish there was a fragrance in here because it does have that like Play-Doh smell. So I don't love that, but I'll keep testing this out. And then I love the Dior lip oils. They're super, super beautiful. Again, I wish there was a little bit more pigment, but it does give me such a beautiful, just like glossy look to the lips. So this new shade is something that I wanted to pick up because I do feel like it has a little bit of pigment, although I would always like to see more. Okay guys, so I think that is everything for this trying new makeup. I feel like we had a roller coaster of a ride today. That just seems to happen when you're trying so many new products. So of course I will continue to try these out and I will update you guys in future videos. Let me know if you've tried any of these, if you like them, if you didn't like them, if you had the same experience as I did. Of course, I will link everything down below as well as Dalba. Do not sleep on Dalba. I'm telling you, the skincare is so beautiful. So all the information will be down below in my description box. As always, thank you guys again so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video.